Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Getting the Most from Your SEO Audit. I am Megan Souza, Marketing Manager here with Done Solutions Group. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few items. This session will be recorded, and we will send out a link to the recording to everyone who registered within 24 to 48 hours after the presentation. We also have all previous recordings on our website in the event that you missed any in the past at donesolutions.com. Also, if you have any questions during today's presentation, we encourage you to submit them and we will address as many as we have time for at the end of the presentation. If the question is somewhat complex and we need more time to answer, we do promise to follow up with you for those. So let's take a look at today's agenda. I will begin by doing introductions to Done Solutions Group. From there, I will turn it over to today's presenter, Dirk Lester, SEO consultant here with Done Solutions. Dirk will discuss what our SEO audit will help, what SEO is and how an audit will help you, what we'll look at during your audit, what you'll actually get in your SEO audit, and what an SEO engagement looks like. We will then discuss how to put your completed audit report to use, and then we'll also give you the information of how to request a free SEO audit from our team. So to begin introductions, Done Solutions is a digital commerce and business transformation consultancy focused on delivering velocity to our clients. Velocity is achieved by both speed and direction. We help our clients achieve speed by automating business processes and direction using advanced analytics. Our teams align with organizations to optimize their unique processes and help them discover the most profitable routes to business success. Done Solutions has a long history of delivering innovative business technology solutions to companies. We are headquartered just outside of Chicago and have offices in Minneapolis, Raleigh, and Bangalore, India. Our offerings fall into two practice areas. Our application development solutions feature portals, e-commerce, and content-managed websites, mobile application development, and custom application development. Our analytics solutions feature analytics and BI platforms, as well as data warehouses, data integration, data lakes, predictive analytics, and machine learning. We are authorized SAP and Liferay training providers and offer classroom, virtual, private, and custom options. We believe that training is important because once we deliver a solution, we want to make sure that those who need it know how to use it and maintain it. Our clients, some of which are included here, are a combination of Fortune 500, mid-market companies, government agencies, and nonprofits across all verticals. About 80% of our business are commercial clients and 20% are nonprofit and government. We maintain strong partnerships with top technology companies in order to offer our clients the most innovative solutions available today. Our application development practice develops solutions that are custom and help differentiate our customers from their competitors. We provide solutions on portals, e-commerce, and content-managed websites, custom transactional applications, as well as mobile applications for integration with back-end systems. We've been doing custom application development since our inception in 1988, and it's one of our core practice areas. Our analytics practice helps deliver information to decision makers throughout your organization so that it runs better. We can help with decision making by not only looking into the rearview mirror, but also looking forward into the future by leveraging predictive analytics and data mining techniques. Our SEO solutions offer initial services to get companies up and running in their initiatives, including competitor research and search domain audits, among others. We also offer ongoing SEO services to help companies maintain strong presence with services including site architecture and digital content optimization, among others. Thank you for allowing me to introduce you to Done Solutions. I will now hand over the presentation to Dirk. Welcome, Dirk.
Good morning. I'm Dirk Lester, and I'm an SEO consultant here at Done Solutions. And today I'm going to spend somewhere between a half hour and 40 minutes talking to you about the free SEO audit we've begun offering to businesses like yours. Obviously, we'll go through why you should request one, what we do to compile the report, and what you'll actually get from an SEO audit. But I actually like to start with that word SEO. It's become such a popular buzzword that the best way for us to get started is with a quick discussion of what SEO is in reality, how it actually works, and the ROI of investing in it. Okay, so what is SEO? The answer you'll typically hear is that search engine optimization is a digital marketing tactic designed to bolster a website's traffic by boosting that website's organic rankings, positions, and search engines. Now, that's all true, but the better answer is that SEO is two things. First, it's getting you more traffic by improving your rankings and by getting you ranked for more things. And second, it's getting you better traffic by making sure that you're ranked for the phrases your customers use when they intend to purchase what you sell. That's actually why SEO is one of the most effective digital marketing tactics you can have at your disposal, because it can pick up your brand and put it right in the path of the consumers you want, right when they're looking for you, right when they want you. Now, how does SEO actually work? It's actually my favorite thing about working in SEO is all the moving pieces, but there are only three main things to understand about the mechanics of how it works. First, organic search positions are determined by how Google scores your website on at least 250 known rankings factors. Second, that fact is misleading because Google only wants to compare apples to apples. And what that means is that no two types of business sites are scored on the same ranking factors. So, for example, your doctor's site might be ranked based on factors 1 through 10, your lawyer's website on factors 5 through 15, and your mechanic's based on factors 5 through 10 and 20 through 30. Third, it is impossible to just improve your rankings because there isn't just one rankings algorithm. There are several discrete algorithms that work together to produce rankings. So, and what that means in effect is that higher rankings can only be achieved by attacking your specific issues in the context of which piece of the algorithm returns the specific results you're after. So, what's the ROI of investing in SEO? Well, as I said earlier, SEO is one of the most powerful tools that you can invest in, but it's also one of the most cost-effective marketing tactics that you can invest in, and it delivers benefits on multiple levels. So, for example, 64% of all website traffic comes from out of organic searches. 75% of all search clicks occur on pages 1 and 2. Inbound leads account for, close at like 8 times the rate of leads from outbound marketing sources. And SEO leads tend to cost about 61% less than outbound leads. Now, one of the other things that I've always found interesting is that SEO tends to consume 12% of the typical marketing budget, but generates 14% of the leads. And finally, the hard dollar value of your ROI will be specific to your keywords. So, for instance, here at Done Solutions, our top 10 keywords are worth about 57 visitors each month. Now, that seems like a small number, but if we were to buy those clicks in AdWords, it would cost about $127 per click, or $126 per click, rather. So organic rankings are worth at least $7,182 a month to us. So how will an SEO audit help your business? Now, one of the SEO truths that people with my title are often reluctant to say out loud is that you may not need SEO, or you may not really need SEO. Search optimization, again, has become so popular that businesses occasionally implement full-blown strategies that they don't really need. In the same way that it can be helpful to think of your business, your business's competitive search landscape as weather, as something that you can't really negotiate with, that you can only adapt to. It's helpful to think of SEO as like a home heating system. If you live in Florida, it's nice to have one, but if it breaks down, you don't really have to rush out and get it fixed right away. On the other hand, if you live in Minnesota, you really need one. And the same thing will be true of your business. So by doing an audit, we'll be able to let you know which category of environment that your business lives in. First and foremost, our audit will spare you the time and expense of finding that out for yourself. We'll let you know if you have specific maintenance needs, long-term search rankings needs, or immediate needs because you've, for example, incurred a Google penalty. Now, getting an SEO audit will help your business by giving you both a data-based assessment of your specific needs and an estimate of the expense involved in tackling them. So here's what we'll actually look at during your SEO audit. Now, we're able to offer free audits because in most cases, we can get a working sense of your SEO needs relatively quickly. I would never recommend specific site changes without more research than the audit will involve. But what we can do is determine whether you're living in Florida or Minnesota, so to speak. Simply by examining a few factors. Things like your site's information architecture and metadata deployments, the competitive relevance of your landing page copy and digital assets. And by digital assets, I mean your images, videos, PDFs, etc. How your brand is appearing on search engine results pages, your ranked keywords and keywords rankings. By the way, just to explain that, meaning how high your rankings are and how many terms you're actually ranked for. And finally, by examining your competitors' comparable content and competitive search rankings. So, why your website's code and meta elements? Excuse me. Okay, so rankings are based on a point system, and sites earn at least 25% of those points on elements like in this category. So it probably won't be the most important thing you do SEO-wise, but it's where your site's basic level of search friendliness can be established. Making the right choices here will show at the end of will really show at the end of the race. The difference between serving Google a website with an honest XML sitemap and what are called speaking URLs and one littered with crawl errors and 500 response codes, which is like an error code, if you don't already know, will be the difference between making it over the top on page 2 and being consigned to like the visibility graveyard, sometimes referred to as page 3. Page titles and meta descriptions become organic listings. Schema elements can become every kind of rich snippet from an event listing or star rating to a quick answer box. And all of those things all of those things impact your rankings and click-through rates. So, why your website's copy and digital assets? Now, this is actually one of the areas where I feel like a lot of businesses just think about content in the wrong way. So, but like the rest of search engine optimization, both SEO copywriting and digital asset optimization boil down to offering Google targeted visibility maximizing information about what your brand is, what it does, who it's for. And someone asked me the other day what it was I thought that most people get wrong about SEO. And that last sentence is what my answer was, is that people often start with the assumption that Google is much smarter than it is and don't do the basic sort of blocking and tackling of just doing those 3 things, just explaining to it what your brand is, what it does, and who it's for. Now, these might seem obvious to you, but it's not uncommon to find a site selling things that's been inadvertently ranked alongside sites that are teaching things because the sales site's copy was so unclear to Google that the search engine can tell the difference. The value of better SEO copy can even be seen in a difference as simple as being ranked for SEO rather than search engine optimization, and getting in front of 50,500 additional customers a month. Now, simply by deploying optimized digital assets is also often the difference between only seeing your website once in a search result and seeing it again and again in image or video blocks. Okay, your brand results in SERP positioning. Okay, so what are those exactly? All right, so first I'll just start with a couple of quick definitions. What your brand results are is, so that's what pops up in Google when you search for yourself, when you search for the name of your company, when we search for Done Solutions. And your SERP positioning is really a broad term that doesn't really describe your rankings, but how the search engine results pages you appear in are actually put together. So as I was saying earlier, results pages are literally assembled by different pieces of Google's algorithm looking for different things. And so what we look for here is what individual components of the algorithm are being used to assemble the specific pages that you appear in. So we take a hard look at this area because when it comes to determining which SEO tactics will result in the greatest ROI, determining how and how often you have the opportunity to appear in Google results can be as telling as where you currently appear in them. And that's because making your brand the source of a quick answer box or boosting into a local snack pack or in multiple positions on a results page can effectively leapfrog you over competitors who are technically better rated. So that's why we'll identify openings where your brand can jump to the head of the line by taking advantage of the knowledge graph, or to get your videos, image, or post from social media accounts ranked alongside your landing pages. Okay, so this one's obvious in a lot of ways. So search engines are getting smarter and therefore better at returning results based on spoken, semantic, and in-context searches from mobile devices and from gadgets like Google Home, which is why, for instance, you can, search for pizza place near me, or for the misspelled name of a guest on a podcast you just listened to, and actually get accurate results. That said, understanding the shape of your keyword universe is still an essential step in crafting a successful SEO strategy. Changing a word's tense can still determine everything from which types of results you appear in to how much traffic those results expose you to. As you'll recall from a second ago, I mentioned that even though Google certainly knows the two terms are synonymous, it responds to 40,000 searches for search engine optimization each month, but 90,000 for SEO, and returns slightly different results for the two queries. All right, so your competitors and rankings position. Now, this is another easy one to explain. You see, where good SEO strategy should start can accurately be summed up with an old joke. It goes like this. If you and a friend are being chased by a bear, you don't have to outrun the bear, you only have to outrun your friend. So that's how we'll wrap up your SEO analysis, by establishing how fast your competitors are running. We'll identify what your competition is getting right from an SEO perspective, so that your strategy can incorporate and emulate those tactics, and identify what they're getting wrong so that you can take advantage of their mistakes to outrun them. Now, here's what you actually get in an SEO audit. Your completed audit will consist of 3 chunks of analysis: data and research describing the current state of your website from an SEO perspective, including how your website performs in search, where it funnels traffic, how it converts visitors, an assessment of your website's backlink profile, and suggestions for building and expanding that profile, and summaries describing a prioritized list of recommended SEO tactics that takes advantage of opportunities we find, builds on your site's strengths, and shores up its weaknesses. So, we start that with an inbound traffic and conversion rate analysis. So Google Search Console and analytics are powerful tools, but they pour out so much data that it can really obscure as much as it reveals, especially if you just aren't used to sifting through them for actionable data. So an essential component of your completed report will be our take on what your traffic and numbers actually mean. For example, like which pages are your visitors actually landing on and why, when and why do visitors land only to bounce away immediately, where do visitors click into the site for in-depth info, how do they actually convert on the site. We'll give you those answers and an analysis of how those answers can be turned towards improving your site's SEO. Then we'll turn to the technical architecture, metadata, and landing page analysis. Now, you'll recall from a couple slides back that a crucial component of SEO will be the degree to which you succeed in telling Google an accurate story about your brand, products, and services. Your site has to do it with every optimizable component, from its URL structures and XML sitemaps to its copy, to the copy on its landing pages, and all image text info in accompanying images. Google will assess its virtues and faults holistically. So we take an approach to your auditing, to SEO practice in general, that of just sort of building our recommendations the same way. We want to present you with a holistic view of your site and how it's performing and communicating, so that you have a holistic strategy that addresses all of your needs. So your keywords rankings and competitive analysis. This is another one that I feel like people not so much get wrong, but misunderstand. So, but like the wave of numbers pouring out of your analytics, your keywords rankings data might obscure as much as it seems to reveal. For instance, you can be well ranked for all the wrong keyword phrases. You can also be the third ranked result for your top 5 keyword targets, but be in a less desirable position than a competitor ranked 6 through 16 for your next 50 phrase targets. So our analysis and recommendations will include opportunities to improve both the height and breadth of your keyword rankings. So in other words, we want to get you ranked for, if you're ranked for 100 terms and you're ranked on page 2, we want to get you onto page 1 and ranked for 300 terms. And the second part of that is really something that people too often miss out on. Typically, SEO, the keyword rankings reporting is taken from we pick out these 25 keywords and we follow those rankings along. But it's really important that your site be widely ranked, because part of what Google is judging is your relevance. So when you start actually seeing the search engine return you in multiple related results, it's when they've actually made a decision about your site that it's a source of information that people should turn to and can trust. So we talked a little bit about brand results and SERP composition analysis. But what does that actually mean in practice? If your site is the only result on a page sans a rich snippet. Now, again, I'll just explain briefly. A rich snippet is any time you see a result that includes an element like stars or event rankings, or event listings rather, or a price, But if yours is the only result on a page sans that kind of result, that kind of rich snippet, you need to know, because you're almost certainly losing clicks to the difference. Now, there's some debate in the SEO community about whether having rich snippets will actually improve your SEO, and that's a fair debate. But the thing that's absolutely true is that in the same way that we normalize what we see in everyday life, in the same way that, for example, every business now has a Facebook page and a Twitter account and these kind of things, because businesses are expected to have them and because consumers would just not buy into or trust you as much if you didn't, having results that look like the results on the rest of the page tends to benefit you. And similarly, if there's a video block or a quick answer box on a page, and on page 1 and you're stuck on page 2, you need to know, because becoming the site that answer is pulled from, or that video box, the videos in that box are pulled from, can be easier than actually building your domain's rank. You can sort of slip on the page 1 rather than have to fight your way on the page 1. If you pursued a domain-focused strategy, and by domain-focused, I mean the typical results that you see that don't have map results. But if you pursued a domain-focused SEO strategy, but Google's returning a local pack results for your target keywords, you need to know, because those results are, again, the weather. Google will never return a domain result instead of a local result on that page. So your audit report will include recommendations designed to just align your SEO strategy with the types of search results your brand actually needs to appear in. Okay. This is actually one of the things that people ignore because it's the hardest thing in SEO to do, but having a network of high quality links pointing back to your website can account for as much as 37% of your ranking score. Or to put that a different way, okay? So the technical qualities of your site are worth about 25 points. And your backlinks are worth 50% of the remaining 75. But ever since Google introduced their Penguin component of their algorithm, which is the piece of the algorithm that penalizes linking practices. So just a quick background. Once upon a time, evil SEO professionals like myself engaged in link building practices to build companies' SEO, build their rankings. And Google noticed that we were gaming that system and uses Penguin to police that practice, so that old ways of building links can now cause your site to accrue penalties. But since they built Penguin, the space that brands are able to proactively pursue the backlinks they need in has been shrinking. But fortunately, there are always link building opportunities to be found. So we'll sift through your backlink profile and your competitors' backlink profiles to dig up those opportunities so that we can incorporate them into our SEO recommendations. It's actually one of the best sources you can find of link building opportunities are literally like where your competitors are getting links, where they're getting links, but where you aren't. So, competitor site comparisons and analysis. So we do this for, again, the simplest of reasons. Earlier I mentioned that Google typically tries to compare apples to apples. And what that means in action is that your search friendliness will almost always be assessed in the context of the sites of businesses offering similar products or services. So it is not uncommon for a company's SEO needs to boil down to an observation along the lines of, Widget Makers LLC has 2 500-word landing pages with a half a dozen images and a white paper on widget making, and you only have 1. So you need to know what you're being compared to in a concrete way so that you can build up your content and be competitive. Okay, so everything we look at and as we assemble your report can be critically important, but everything we find won't be equally important. So you could start with a fairly robust backlink profile that doesn't need much work, but have old landing page copy on your site that's just hurting your rankings because Google sees it as spammy. So to cap off your report, we'll provide a SWOT analysis that outlines your site's SEO strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, and that lays out any threats before moving on to our tactical recommendations. And I'm going to just take a quick second and explain what I mean by threats. Okay? So Google does two things, okay? It assesses and it polices. And on the polices side, it tries to remove things from its index that have content that it considers spam, that have link profiles that it considers spam, that have just issues. So for example, I actually had a client a few years ago, well, a couple of years ago, that had their site had been hacked, and that hack had caused them to be removed from Google's index. So the threat category is actually a small set of things, but if one of them applies to your site, you need to know it. So we'll provide you with that information. All right, so the final piece of your audit report will be a prioritized point-by-point diagnosis of your site's issues in search, a description of why we've determined that they're needed or they are indeed issues, and our prescription for how to go about fixing them. And we'll lay out the specific SEO tactics we deploy to fix them. So if you decide to tackle your search optimization needs internally, you will have the roadmap you need to get started. On the other hand, now, that said, the team here at Done Solutions would be more than happy to implement our SEO recommendations. So the last page of your report will include a budgeted project plan. And my biased recommendation is that you sign off on it. Sorry. All right, so if you do want to request a free SEO audit from Done Solutions, finally, if you'd like that audit, just tell us. One of our account managers will reach out and send over a quick questionnaire that'll give the consultant who will conduct your audit some basic information about your website, priorities and competitors, and your extended online presence, by which I just mean which social media have you been active in, things like that. And when you finish the questionnaire, we'll schedule a 30-minute call to review your answers, clarify any confusion, and make sure everyone's on the same page with your goals. Once we once we all are on the same page, our SEO consultant will do the audit, create your report, send it back, and set up a second call to go over what was found. It's that simple. Now, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dirk, for that presentation. If anyone has any questions, please type those in now. If not, thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you at future webinars. If you have any questions on how to sign up for the SEO audit, please also type those in as well. Have a great day, everyone. We do have one question, and that is, how many sites will the free audit cover?
How many sites will the free audit cover? Well, typically we've only done one site per audit, but if you have multiple sites, it would actually be important to assessing your needs that we sort of audited all of them. It might take us longer. It typically takes about a week per site.
Okay.
It would actually, so I guess honestly, I guess my answer would depend on what the different sites were. So for example, are the different sites that the questioner is asking about, like, are they a site and a blog, a site and a subdomain, or are they two separate businesses?
Okay. All right. All right. It looks like that's all of our questions for now. Again, thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Dirk, for your presentation. If y'all do have any questions in the future, please email us at info@donesolutions.com. Thank you all for joining us today.